It's time to dish on the Kentucky Derby, and I'm ripping the Band-Aid right off. No ugly mugs, no talking heads, just the Paddock Princess top 10. David Levitch joining me ahead of the final big weekend of Kentucky Derby preps. David, 6 of the 10 on your list are running this weekend, including 2 of the top 3. The Wood Memorial favorites 4th there, a couple of bluegrass entrants in the bottom half. We're going to learn a lot this weekend.
Yes, we are. We got a big weekend ahead. I think journalism is still at the top of most people's Derby top tens. I guess Citizen Bull I'm leaving him in there. He's been consistent. He might get to walk the dog again, being a short field in the Santa Anita Derby with some Baffert blockers in there for him. But if journalism runs anywhere near his last race, he's going to romp, in my opinion. I thought Sovereignty ran really well in the Florida Derby. He didn't beat Tappan Street, but he made up a lot of ground again. That'll make him a better price in the Derby because he doesn't have a 1 next to his name, doesn't have 2 1s in a row. So got a big weekend ahead. Captain Cooks looks good in the Wood Memorial. Might break the Wood Memorial streak. You never know. Thought he's logical in there. River Thames. Didn't love Sandman, but he won. Chancer this weekend against River Thames. And I put Barnes back on there because he's running, but his works have not been very inspiring. So I don't know what to do with him.
I saw some buzz about the last work, but certainly the 2 before that.
And I know they've been tinkering with the blinkers on and off, so maybe he will wake back up again when they run the race in the afternoon. But I really wonder if Citizen Bull and Barnes are owned by different people. I wonder what the tactics are going to be in that race. It's so hard to gauge these California races when Baffert has 3 of the 5 because you don't know how they're going to be run. I mean, Mattakit Road's the fastest horse in the country now in the first half mile, and he was 3rd last time he ran.
Not cornucopian?
I forgot about him. He did run he ran a very brave race in his second start. I'm not going to lie. He didn't win the race, but I thought he ran pretty darn big. I don't know why they were so engaged
just
early
to be fourth.
Because he probably comes second or first. If he doesn't engage that heavy, he at least comes second and gets in.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably agree. I mean, I thought
Baltimore horse, Pad Day Mile to Baltimore.
Lexington to Baltimore.
That's too quick, isn't it?
It'd be a cut
like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks. You're right. Yeah,
that's a Pad Day Mile horse.
Sure, but then that's 2 weeks to the Preakness, which granted Seize the Gray did, but that was
yeah, that's true. That's Lucas also. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll just wait till the Preakness. No, but I thought Cornucopian ran really well. I didn't love Sandman's effort in the final furlong. He's all over the place. They didn't come home that fast.
I don't know how. I mean, that just doesn't look like the type of run you want from a Derby hopeful.
Well, the other thing is, too, Captain Obvious, the pace was blistering.
Sure.
So he's supposed to win that. Because Cold Battle was much closer to the pace than anticipated.
Yes. And then, he was very keen.
Yeah, he was keen. So Sandman he had to win that race by default. I mean, just the way the pace set up and the race set up. I thought Cold Battle, I didn't put him in there, but I don't think if he won the Derby in 4 weeks, 4.5, I wouldn't be surprised. Just because if he's consistent, he was too keen in that race. I didn't put him on there, but he would be one of those horses that wouldn't shock me.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and we actually are pretty similar. Here's my 24. Now these are in points order, so it's not a top list, but similar to you, I have Sovereignty ahead of Tappan Street, 10 and 11 to 1. So they are close, but I just thought, I mean, maybe I'm giving too much credit to Bill Mott, but on the other hand, how could you? He's one of the best ever. Like that felt like a good prep to me, and he didn't win. But it was a winning race. Like there were some good horses behind him. Tappan Street just kind of blitzed the field, and it was all done for Sovereignty once he was playing catch up. But I don't think that's going to happen in the Kentucky Derby, and maybe things fall Sovereignty's way in there. So we'll get a sense of what the prices might be. There's a future wager this weekend, so we'll kind of see how the public bets those Florida Derby horses. But I have no issue whatsoever with Sovereignty coming out of that race.
No issue for me at all either. I thought he ran well. I know he had a different jockey on, but I thought Franco gave him a good ride. You're going to probably get, I mean, he'll probably be close to 10-1 in the Derby. Now, if he would have won that race,
Oh yeah,
he's probably 5 or 6-1 if he wins. He's probably the third. If journalism romps this weekend or runs well with a big number, he's probably the favorite.
that's right.
I mean, I guess Chancer McPatrick is the horse that's interesting in the betting because if he runs off I don't know. Chad Brown always gets these horses. I know Sierra Leone. What was the horse he had 2 years ago that ran third? Maybe with the year.
Zandon behind
Yeah,
Epicenter
yeah,
and
yeah.
Rich Strike.
So
Zandon.
yeah, he always gets these horses to run well in the bluegrass, and they always come into the Derby in top form. So I mean, if he wins the bluegrass, he's going to get bet because
That's
he's got
true.
that 2-year-old form, second off the layoff this weekend, so that would be third in the Derby. If he gets a good win here, he's going to get bet too. So Sovereignty
Agreed.
is going to be a good price. I also
Uh,
think Tappan Street is a nice horse, but he got a great trip in there. But he was forward, so if he
Yeah,
can put
that was a
himself in the ring,
trip.
yeah, if he gets the set up in the Derby, though, if he's in fifth or sixth, he could be a horse that gets first run. I just don't know if he wants 10 furlongs, but he is a very good horse.
Well, Chad Brown has another one, and in terms of your top 10, there was only the one horse in the Wood that you had. That was Captain Cook, who I do see as the most likely winner of the Wood, though I'm curious how far the practical jokes want to go in general. But Hill Road, who I have 7-1 here, so is that fourth choice? So, little respect kind of with that second tier of horses. But I kind of got the sense before the Tampa Bay Derby they were playing catch up. He had fewer works than Chancer McPatrick did going into that race. He ran better in the juvenile. At least he finished ahead of his stablemate. That wasn't with Chad Brown at the time, but now he is. But it does seem like there's a lot of upside with Hill Road. And I'm not sure the Wood will be the day, and he'll need to finish at least third to get the points. But I am curious to see his development here.
There's also going to be pace in this race. There's some real speed with the 4, the
Yes,
5, the
absolutely.
7.
Yeah,
So he's
Shan
going to get
Devil,
pace. Yeah, he's going to get
Rodriguez.
pace. So Rodriguez from the rail. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's going to be pace in it. I mean, the morning line maker in New York's the best in the country by far. Is Rodriguez really going to be the favorite in this race over Captain Cook?
Oh, I haven't seen the line. I just assumed Captain Cook would be the favorite, but
Yeah, he had Rodriguez as the favorite.
okay.
Captain Cook is
Well,
the second
yeah,
choice.
Baffert chipping in. I mean, maybe with a different jockey. I
You know
again,
what's
Mike
funny?
Mike Smith,
Oh,
one of the best ever. He's ridden all-time greats.
oh,
But
100%. I was just
man,
talking from a value standpoint. Like if Captain Cook is 7-2, second choice, like that's good value.
that's absolutely, yeah,
So, but if Rodriguez is
I
really
agree.
5-2, I don't want any part of that horse at 5-2 in a win bet.
No, nor I.
The interesting horse in here that you seem to not really like is the 11. You have him at 100-1. I thought Statesman's last two dirt races were pretty good. The figures weren't amazing, but he has a big time turn of foot. And if you like Hill Road, they're both going to be coming from dead last. If you think this race is falling apart, I mean, I would use
All right.
Statesman in here. I mean, I just did a brief glance at the race. I haven't done a lot of it yet, but
I do always say fair odds to win isn't necessarily mean that you can't use them underneath. Like Omaha. I mean, even looking at it now, I'm kind of worried 42 is too high because he's consistent. He runs his race. I have a hard time thinking like if it does set up for a closer that Hill Road wouldn't be the more likely of them, but I could see using Omaha underneath for sure.
yeah. And another thing about this race is too the 2 and the 7, Captain Cook and Grande, they're coming off mile and an eighth races, so they have the buy. I don't have it right in front of me. I don't know if Rodriguez run in California last.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was third at the Citizen Bull, or no,
yeah.
that was the Barnes journalism race.
Correct. So yeah, he was way back. So I mean, Captain Cook and Grande, they have the 9 furlong race coming in, which makes them I think that helps them a little bit. I know Captain Cook hasn't run since the Withers in February, but they were always skipping the Gotham because I mean, who would go from a mile and eighth to a mile back to a mile and an eighth? That doesn't really make much
Right.
sense.
And
So I
he
think him
ran.
having that 9 furlongs and Grande, I mean, I think that puts him a little ahead of the game. Some of these others.
Yeah,
You
the
don't like
Captain
Bear Claw
Cook.
Necklace?
No, nor McAfee. I mean, it's too slow. But Captain Cook, I don't mind. I mean, the Gotham obviously with the cutback anyway makes it tricky. But that was a lifetime top in the Withers. I know Dutro's a Sheets guy. I mean, he's given him some time, and he's set up for a 1-2 punch. Again, my biggest question mark after this week would be the distance for a practical joke, but we
I
know
was a
he's handled
little
9. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And if he handles 9 again confidently here, I wouldn't really you can't really worry about it. I'm off Sand
right,
Devil. I
yeah.
don't think
I took a bet last time. I was a believer, and I
I mean he
mean
ran
he
fine, but
ran
he's
his
supposed to
race
win.
and yeah, he was supposed to win and he didn't. So
So
tough to. I mean, if they totally ignore him, I mean, the odds are there. I'd have to take a look, I guess, but I think it'll be an underlay. We mostly touched on the Santa Anita Derby since journalism's your top and a couple others in there. I just thought the San Felipe was the best prep we've seen so far. So if he repeats that, he's going to win.
I could not agree more. I don't think there's a lot to say about this race. I guess Citizen Bull, if he somehow walks the dog again, which is not crazy to say based on there's only 5 horses in this race.
Right.
But I think Journalism is the best horse. I wish the 5 Beza had another start under the belt because I think that horse has a lot of talent. But this is asking a lot of this horse, and it just is. I mean, he's coming off a
For
maiden win.
for a trainer that, I mean, this isn't his style.
This is not his style at all. But in
So
California, if you win a maiden race, you don't have a lot of options. So unless you're
no,
shipping out, you got to basically run in these races. I mean, you're not. They
yeah.
don't ride non-winners of one like they do at Gulfstream in Tampa in California for
And when
3-year-olds.
they do, there's a Baffert 2 to 5 in there.
Yeah, and they're. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there has not been more than one non-winners of 3 going 2 turns on the dirt in California this year for
Yeah,
3-year-olds.
it's rare. So
So
yeah,
I
you're
mean,
probably
he's a
right.
talented horse, but you're like you said, John Sheriff's ain't a maiden to Grade 1 guy very often.
Now, one thing I'll say with Citizen Bull, he did not move forward. Looking at speed figures in the Lewis, ran a winning race. The juvenile was fine. We do need to see some development if he's going to contend here. And I could see a case where he does move forward. It's still not good enough to beat journalism, but maybe then 4 weeks later in the Kentucky Derby, especially, I mean, there's already chatter about, okay, where's the speed because all these horses aren't winning the 9 furlong races. So if he ends up in there, sort of the authentic type, off a loss, as authentic was after losing in the Haskell, I could see playing him at like 15 to 1 in the Derby. But if he wins this after walking the dog, he's going to be super overbet.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't know what to do with this horse. I just want to see him get battled one time early and see what he
Right.
can do. I mean, he's never had
Exactly.
any. But it is interesting. Barnes has a different owner, so it's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
like
I have to think Citizen Bull is going to the front. I mean, in the Lewis, they could have
oh, 100%.
had any
Yeah.
of the 3 in there on the front end, and it was him. So
But Barnes could, force him to go 22, 23. But if
yeah,
they're
that's
sitting there
true.
going 23 and a half, 24, because he's strangling Barnes. But Barnes is not owned by the Avengers, so maybe there'll be some a little bit of pace, but I'm
Yeah,
with you on
no,
journalism.
he's in there
Short
to get
fields and
points.
Derby preps this weekend. Who would have thought Aqueduct's
Not
race
in the
have as
wood.
they have 12, the Bluegrass has 7, and Santa Anita has 5. So the Wood has
Yeah,
combined. The
the
Wood's
same
back.
amount. I do
The Wood
believe
is
there's
back.
a $3 pick 3
Where?
on the 3 preps.
That's a pretty good bet.
Yeah,
Lean on journalism, get a price in the Wood Memorial, and you make some money.
there you go. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sheets, all 3 tracks this week.
Yeah, I'm not doing. Someone's doing Santa Anita, my helper Kobe, but I'm doing the mud at Keeneland.
It's
Brave to
going to be
card 4
muddy.
turf races, by the way. I saw your tweet. That was I don't know if I would have carded 4 of them, but maybe they're just thinking the
I mean, I
worst.
would have kept the stake, but yeah, that was
But there is a
ambitious. I
lot of
thought.
dirt horses entered in some of those races, so. But yeah, no, I'll have
Right.
Keeneland, Aqueduct. The Aqueduct spring meet starts on Thursday. So they reset the jockey standings and trainer
Right.
standings, but we're still Aqueduct's first turf race is until April 24th this year, but they're getting closer. So Aqueduct and Keeneland, meat
All
package at
right.
Keeneland.
Yeah. That starts Friday with the Ashland Day.
Ashland's an interesting race too. There's some speed in there for a compact field, and I don't like Muhima, so I think that race has some good
No,
value.
that last race, too bad to
She does
take
get
on a
Pratt
short
today,
price
though.
here.
She does get Pratt, and for some reason,
Yeah.
Pratt he makes horses 2 links better because that's how good he is.
He's the best.
No, he's not. But he's second best. But
Second,
no, I'm just kidding. He has been the best jockey the last year and a half.
I'm probably gonna
So
give another look to Tommy
oh,
Drury
the what's that
at
horse's
Mitt.
name on yeah, that I did was looking at that. I only glanced at. I also thought the California shipper's interesting. Not the look forward on the rail or whatever the McCarthy horse is. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name, but the Sadler Rosario horse, I thought that horse was interesting. Sadler does not ship to Keeneland very often.
No, probably the last time was Flightline.
I would probably agree with that. Probably. Yeah, I would probably
Yeah.
agree with that. Maybe he snuck one in a stakes race
Yeah,
somewhere, but
could've
yeah,
snuck
no, it's
one in.
probably less than 3.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to the meat package, Aqueduct, Santa Anita. Next week will be what, Keeneland and Aqueduct.
Yeah. Keeneland and Aqueduct all the way to Churchill.
Nice. Which
And
isn't
before
far
you know
away.
it, we'll be no, it's not far away. What's it? 28. No, I guess it's Derby's 4 weeks from Saturday. It's 21 days
32 to
away
the
from
Derby,
Saturday.
25 to opening night. Will I see you in the Turf Club again?
I'm not a night racing guy.
Oh. I saw you last year.
I went for like 3 races.
Oh.
Night racing was fun the first 5 times I went, not the last 57 times I went.
I mean, get the parking situation is what is really discouraging to me.
No, I mean, if it rains a lot this weekend, though, it keeps raining. Churchill be licking their chops with turf racing.
Yeah. And they have such a great course, so people will be excited to get back on it.
You said it. You said it.
I'm sure it'll be ready to go. I haven't heard any
No.
chatter otherwise, so that makes me optimistic.
No, and then when it does get ready to go, we'll hear for 2 years straight that some horses handle and some don't. So I'm looking forward to figuring out which ones do and don't.
All right. Well, and I'm looking forward to figuring out which of your picks are going to be the winners this weekend.
I'm going to win every prep race. That's all I know.
I love it. All right, let's do it. Well, that's the Prince. Let's give one final look at the top 10 from him as we head out. But good luck, everybody. Picks.horseracingnation.com for everything Keeneland all month long and Aqueduct as well, and a special Santa Anita on Saturday. Thanks, Prince.
Thank you, Ed.